Hello, hello. Make sure this is working. Okay. Got this going on Instagram and YouTube. So if you're watching the YouTube version, this is working. Get that muted. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, trying to get the cameras in the same place, but you're looking like I'm looking somewhere else. I'm looking at you on Instagram saying, hey. All right. So this is a topic that I've seen kind of floating around the last week or so. And I wanted to discuss it because I think there's a couple important things in this conversation. And per the norm, when I'm talking about something, the normal conversation is not the thing I want to be focusing on. By that, I mean, for starters, progressive Mormonism can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? That word, the connotation, the ideas that come behind it. So I don't find, for me, it useful to use words like that, unless it's in a title that I'm trying to get you to click on the video to watch, right? Yeah. Because I want to neutralize some of the language, right? Because I want to be able to have the conversation be focused in a more productive way rather than a way that activates us and get us focused on, who's right, who's wrong, and sort of this self-defense thing, because that is a common thing that has been showing up in our world for a long time now, several years in particular, right? Human history, we've always had that, right? But in the last couple of years, especially, and the church is no stranger to this experience, right? We have had this increased feeling of like, I have to shelter, I have to protect, I have to keep myself safe because I don't know who's going to be attacking me, who's going to be agreeing with me, who's not, right? We are in this climate where we've been through a lot of change and disruption and shifts, which, for those of you who know me, my favorite way to think about change is new growth and expansion occurring, right? And after we have massive growth and expansion occurring, or the potential for it, always comes the next stage, which is where we have to integrate it. We have to figure out how to start operating again from the space that we're in now, because a lot of people are not the same people they once were. And the world is not the same place that it was. And so we're trying to find that new place. And with it comes this need to relearn how to trust again, right? And that can feel really hard and really difficult when your nervous system gets activated, when you've been through traumatic experiences over the last couple of years, which everyone has, right? Some on varying degrees, but we all have. And so there's a need for, again, new language that just sort of as a new way to approach the setting that we're in, how to move forward, how to start doing that from a better space. Right? And so to me, what I see going on is this feeling of we don't know how to talk to each other anymore. We don't know how to show up anymore. And this new version of kind of who's right and who's wrong. Okay. And anytime it comes to black and white dichotomies, energetically, I love to break those up, because energetically, that's usually not what's going on. And instead, what is happening is there is masculine perspective, language, and experience. And there's the feminine perspective, language, and experience. Both of them occur. Both of them are valid. Both of them are ways to move through the world. Okay? Talk about what those are a lot more inside my workshops, inside my membership, inside my programs. If you're interested in any of those, send me a DM, we'll chat, or use the link in my bio and you can schedule a call and we'll just chat for 10-15 minutes, see which one's best for you, right? But we want to be in this aligned space, right? And what can happen is we move, and it's like a pendulum swinging out, right? And we can get a little off kilter. I call that being hyper or hypo in the masculine or feminine experience. Okay? And so a lot of times, especially when it comes to deconstructing your religious experience, right? I see a lot of people who say this was the original experience I had, I deconstructed, here's the things that are not okay, that need to change, that need to shift. And that to me has a purpose. It starts the process, but it is not the place where we find the solutions. There's a whole journey we're going to be talking about in the next couple of days. And it's the journey of the matriarch. And right in the middle, before coming to motherhood, is what I call the struggle and stumble phase, because it starts out with this divine departure, and you go through this energy clash where you're like sort of trying to figure out, this stuff that I'm felt kind of called into, pulled into, or something in my life moved me into this space. Now it's clashing and there's some dissonance, and I'm not sure how to deal with that. And the rise point comes where we decide, are we going to fall back into our old way of being, or are we going to step into a new way of being? Okay? If we decide to move through with the rise, then we enter this next period where the stumble and the struggle starts to set in. After we have new life. Sorry. First after the rise is new life. And it's like this, oh, what is this? I'm exploring this, and this is fun, and it's exciting, and I love this, and it feels so good. And where's this been all my life? And then it starts to move into the struggle and the stumble. And it's like, oh, now this is kind of hard, and I'm not sure how to do it, and I'm not sure how to move through it. And that's where a lot of traditional deconstructing often focuses. And it works to get you from that stage to the next stage, which is where you're feeling more steady and sure. It's like, okay, I feel like I know who I am. I feel like I'm feeling better about not caring about other people's opinions. I have that steadiness and sureness about you. But it still hasn't solved all these problems that I just discovered through the whole struggle and stumbles experience. And I don't really know what to do about them. The options at that point for most people tend to be put myself through torture as I try and stay here and just like weather it out. That's what I'm looking for. In an attempt to wear things down, maybe. Maybe that's where that word was coming from. Or leave, right? And so there can be a lot of discussion of like, you should just be leaving. It's useless. You shouldn't be staying. This is not going to be helpful. This is not the thing that is working. Well, this is not the full process, right? All that has happened here has been one half of the journey. Right? First bit is more internal. The second bit is more external. We have to move into another internal journey before arriving at the external journey. And that final external journey is where we start moving into some of the tangible physical changes occurring, right? So we're reaching kind of that halfway point. Right? This should be desirable, right? To see, oh, progression is moving forward here. Right? And so why I'm bringing all of this up into the topic and the conversation is because that journey I just described is the maiden to mother journey, right? When you get that stable sure, it's like, okay, I had the baby, right? It's here. Now it's like, oh man, how do I get used to this? How do I learn to raise this child? How do I fully embody this? That's the mother to maiden journey. The mother to maiden journey, or mother to matriarch, sorry, I'm gonna go backwards. Mother to matriarch journey. Right? It starts off, the very first thing is learning to trust. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is how am I supposed to trust again? How can I just ignore all of these things here? Because there's this like mama bear energy that comes alive, right? With that mother essence coming in. And there's beauty in that, there's strength in that. I want that. But you need to lay the foundations. You need to follow the process and the pattern to get the best results out of it without marring everyone around you and harming yourself or others, or being right, making it more difficult than it needs to be, right? Things get more difficult when we don't follow through the whole process and we try and jump and skip steps and things. Okay? And especially the feminine journey is all about moving from, instead of I need to do something so I can have something, so I can be something. That is a masculine pathway. Okay, that is a masculine way of creation. And a lot of women are stuck in that. I need to do something like whatever it is so that I can have something, maybe write letters so I can have something like a new position in the church so that I can be valued as a leader in my community. That's not our pathway. And if we continue to follow through in that pathway, we are not actually fully stepping into our feminine. We are not ready for feminine leadership. We are not acting as matriarchs. We have to learn how to shift and operate from the feminine pathway, the feminine form of leadership. So I will be something, then I will do something, and then I will have something. And that is that journey, that being, right? Most people think is, oh, well, I accomplished that because I moved through the mother or the maiden to mother journey, right? I've become something. I've connected to my power, my sovereignty, and who I am, and I know these things. No, that's just the initiation, right? Now you have to actually embody it, and you know that you are embodying it because it starts to feel good. It's easier, it's natural, it's energizing, it's life-giving, it's full of love for other people. If you are still feeling drained, shut down, disconnected, struggling, at odds, the embodiment process hasn't fully completed. Now, the journey of what that looks like, what people are going to be able to do in different environments, that is different for everyone, right? So externally, it's gonna look different for everybody because your history, your trauma, your nervous system, where you came from, your beliefs, your energy system, all of those things, they're very different for every individual, right? So the how you move through the process is different, it's unique, but the process itself is not. And the reason we struggle so much because we don't have, is very difficult often to get into that trust point. Because again, the masculine pathway, well, you got to do something first so that I can have confidence that I should trust you before I'm able to be someone who trusts you. That's the masculine pathway. But that is not the feminine pathway. The feminine pathway is I'm going to be someone who can trust so they can do the things to treat you in that way. So I can have the results of this relationship occurring. Okay? Now, I know a few of you are going to be listening to that. They're saying like, oh, you want me to just put up with abuse? You want me to let people deal with this? No, right? There's some pieces here of being able to understand the human side of the experience, the spiritual side of the experience. The masculine pathway starts in the human and does not always access the spiritual side of things. Right? Sometimes it just stays in the human experience, and that's where it can get off kilter and imbalance. The feminine side of things, though, starts in the spiritual, starts with getting the energy set. And if you set the energy right, it is like creating a current or a river that you can then ride your boat in down the river, right? You still got to get your boat and put it in the water and paddle it downstream and navigate through the rapids and everything, but you have water there to carry you through it instead of putting your boat in a rocky, bumpy, empty riverbed and trying to get down the road. Yeah, it's going to break your canoe. Yeah, it's going to be bumpy. Yeah, you're going to want to get up and get out of the water and say, I'm done. This is useless. Why am I doing this? Right? Learn to get energy there. The current carries you and it becomes smoother and easier. Again, you still got to navigate rapids. You still got to move through the water, right? You still got to get your boat in there. It's not like we're ignoring the human side of things, but it's a very different experience. And it's one that I love to walk women through, which is why I'm doing a masterclass on Friday. It's called The Hallmark of a Matriarch. We're going to go through 3 of the key traits of a matriarch, 3 of the common myths about a matriarch, and 3 ways you can start acting as a matriarch today. Okay? We're going to get you started on that journey. And for those of you who are already like, I am loving this, I need this, I want this, help me with this, right? I'm going to give you a brief little teaser. I'm opening up a new program, Aspiring Matriarchs. It's a monthly group coaching and support group program, $151 a month. And you can choose to stay in it. I have 12 to 18 months worth of content, if not more, that we could spend our time on. But the way we're going to be focusing on it is very feminine in style. Masculine traditional education is here's this thing, then here's this thing, then you learn this thing, then you learn this thing. Feminine is relational, it is fluid, it is flowing. So I have structure. I know the pieces of the process that need to play out. I know how all of the pieces fit together. But every time that we meet, there will be a different question or a different part being a matriarch that we'll be addressing, and we will open it up. And based upon where people are, the questions that are had, the comments that are asked, the interaction, the experience, the relationship that occurs in that call will determine specifically what is covered that week. So every time it's going to be a little bit different. But the beautiful thing is through the repeated process of coming through these calls, not only will you be calibrating to your own feminine, really learning how to embody it, right? And that's going to happen through a couple of ways. One, I begin to calibrate to my energy there. I'll be holding that space, connecting to it so that you can start having that. Or on the other side of things, we can be calibrating to each other, right? Which is a beautiful experience. So you'll start seeing, oh, this is how they're applying it, they're applying it, this is how I'm applying it, right? But way more details are going to be coming. But the idea is, instead of, I found my power, I feel good, I don't really care what anybody thinks of what they're going to do, but I still kind of have to have a shell or a wall up to protect myself because people still are bothered by me or have problems with me or struggle or it's hard, right? You become a beacon of light that radiates outward. Right? And everywhere you go, every step you take, you radiate that light and you allow others to experience it, and you are paving a stream of water for others to be able to jump in. A beautiful, powerful process. And we so desperately need matrix. This is how we move forward. This is how we bring the feminine fully into the world, is by understanding this feminine process and pathway. I'll be sharing more of it with you again. If you're interested, let me know details in the comments. I would love to share more of it with you. And this is applicable to anyone, right? So whether you are still in the church, whether you're out of the church, whether you don't know where you are in relationship to the church, right? It's still applicable to you. This is something that applies in every aspect of your life, in all of your relationships, even within your home and family, friends, all of it. It is about a state of being. And to me, that is the key part of things here, right? Oh, sorry. So when it comes to progressive Mormonism, again, to me, the idea isn't so much that we are stuck in this battle of who's right and who's got it wrong. It's that we need to find that aligned space, and we need to have language and understanding for where imbalance does occur, right? And what will happen is when one imbalance happens, there's a pull on that, right? And this person's going to feel the pull from that one moving out, and this person's going to feel the pull from this one staying there. And it's going to want to cause this person to move as well. And if they both move out, then a type of balance occurs, which can give the appearance that everything is fine and things are going well because it's balanced, but it's actually not aligned. Okay? And when you learn how to navigate through these things, you learn how to be a true matriarch, which is, I know how to find alignment. I know how to recognize when I've swung out and I'm imbalanced. I know how to bring myself back to alignment, and I know how to hold that alignment to help others calibrate to it. I know how to deal with when they're out of alignment, when they're in alignment, right? That is the goal. And by holding that alignment, becoming so disciplined, practice, strength, that is second nature to you, that you just hold that regardless of where anyone else is on their own thing, right? That is what a matriarch can do. Right? It's like the mom who can just keep her cool while her toddler's having a temper tantrum. Right? Doesn't always happen. You swing out. It's okay. It's part of the humanness, but you can bring it back into that centered space again. Right? And that's the goal. So the majority of the time is spent here. And you know how to hold it, and you know how to keep it here. And what happens in time, others start to calibrate too, and things start to shift without you having to call it out, tell them, whatever, right? And again, the externals of how it plays out, we'll go into this in the group. This is what we talk about, but I want to give you this teaser here because it's a really beautiful and important concept. Is instead of getting frustrated when people swing out, and if you're feeling that pull, right, and it's hard for you to hold that alignment, it's okay. Yeah, that's where you're in the journey. The first piece is recognizing, oh my gosh, I've been living most of my life like swung out. I didn't know what alignment was. I've been finding alignment. I like alignment, but when other people are not in alignment, oh man, I struggle. Right? When you get to a place where it's like, oh, I can hold this. I can do this. More and more your experience comes where you're interacting with alignment, and more of that is the dominant experience that you have in your life. It's one of the key parts of being a matriarch. So, good. You want to be the first to know about Aspiring Matriarchs group, where we're going to teach you, train you, all the wonderful things, discuss, have conversations, calibrate you to really be able to embody this next phase of your journey. Send me a DM or comment below. Details. We'll get you all the information on that. And don't forget to head to my bio, where there's a link for you to be able to register for the masterclass on Friday, Hallmark of Matriarch. Love to have you there. Take care.